that. All right. So yes, lying down, be comfortable. Oh, okay. Relax your shoulders. Just, taking a couple of moments to drop in, to sort of let go of the day, come into the breath, come into the body. All right. So taking a nice big breath, inhale through your nose. Fill all the way up, hold it at the top, relax the shoulders. And sigh the breath out, exhale. And just let the breath pour out, soften. Do that again, inhale through your nose. Biggest breath, holding, relaxing. And exhaling with a sigh, releasing the breath, allowing the body to really soften as you exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, filling the belly, expanding your ribs, right? Breathe into the back ribs, right? Feel the ribs kind of move into the floor, holding the breath as you get to the top. Try and inhale a little bit more. See if there's space to sip in a little more breath. And exhale everything, sighing all the breath out. And start to breathe in and out through your nose. Inhaling and exhaling. We're coming into the Ujjayi breath. Soft brushing sound at the back of the throat. And just make the breath just kind of steady, even. Right, so as you inhale, a slow breath, pausing at the top, and then steady exhale. And then just try to have the breath be kind of even length. Inhale to exhale. You can count the breath. See how long the inhale is as you inhale. And just a little pause in between, that moment in between the inhale and the exhale. And counting out the exhale, how long is the exhale? Try to just even out. The length of the breath. Inhale and exhale. Sama, Vriti, Pranayam, just even turning of the breath. Gentle pause. And pause at the bottom of the exhale as well. All the breath is out. Just a little pause. Moment before the breath turns and we begin the inhale again. Just a couple more rounds. Really trying to even out the breath. So keep it a nice steady breath. It doesn't necessarily have to stay exactly even, inhale, exhale, but this nice, steady, calming breath. We can always use the breath to help steady the mind, to calm things down. So we have this as a tool we can use all the time. All right, so start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And still steady breath. Circling the wrists, the ankles. Stretch the arms overhead. Stretch the legs. All right. And hug the knees. Give them a squeeze. Rock a little side to side. Just massage across the low back, the kidney band. All right. And then as we do into the twist, take the legs over to the left. And just a couple of breaths. Open the chest. Feel that nice stretch. Just let that happen. Melt the shoulder towards the mat. Turn the head as much as you like to the right. Just get an easy stretch in the neck. And bring the legs to the middle. Inhaling to center. And exhaling, knees over to the other side. Drop them down. Reach out through the left arm. And again, turning the gaze to the left any amount. Just look for an easy stretch in the side of the neck. All right, let's come back to center. Bring the knees to the middle. Send the legs up, straightening. Heels to the sky. You can grab on maybe. I don't know. See how your hamstrings feel. Give them a quick stretch. Turn the toes out, legs out to the side. Yeah, a lot of things in the asana practice, in the physical doing of the poses, requires us to have not just strength or just range of motion, but a nice combination of both of those things, especially the arm balances and inversions and stuff like that. So we'll play with the hamstring strength a little bit. So just have your legs, as much as they can anyway, be straight up towards the ceiling. And then, like for me, I can pull them in a little bit. So I'm just going to try and stack my heels over my hips, move my legs a little bit away, right? Press the back ribs down into the mat. And let's just bring the arms out wide like a T, at least for now. Belly engaged, right? And really the belly button pulling down towards the floor. We're just going to slowly lower the heels about a third of the way to start, right? Just to start to feel the abs. Press the low back down into the mat. There is a natural curve there, but we'll try and get rid of some of that or a lot of that just to keep the abs engaged. Maybe the heels lower a little more, so you're about halfway to. Right, of course, we'll start to feel the weight of the legs in gravity, which is kind of fun. Maybe the heels can get a little closer to the floor. Keep trying to press the low back down. Right, so the hip bones are pulling up towards the ribs. Make sure you're breathing. It's easy to hold the breath. Take one more breath here, shoulders to the floor. Then bring the legs all the way back up. Just take a moment. Bend the knees. You can bring your feet to the floor. Just soften for a sec and we'll add on to that a little bit. All right. So we'll do that again, except this time we'll have a little bit more dynamic moving, so up and down with the legs. All right, but same idea, pressing the back body into the floor. So, legs up. All right, make sure you don't hold your breath. So here we go. Inhaling to lower the heels, however close you can get, and then exhale, lifting the legs up. And if you want, you can kind of pull them in a little closer so you feel some stretch in the backs of your legs. And lower again. So inhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower the legs. And exhale, lift them up. A few more times like that. Lifting and lowering. I'm trying really hard to remember the name of this, and I'll think of it in a second. This actually is a yoga pose. It's a thing. I just can't remember the name right now. It will come to me eventually. We got a couple more of these. Really try and keep the back body on the mat. Wow. That'll help keep your abs nice and engaged, which is really useful for so many things that we do in the asana practice. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do 3 more. Press the low back down. Lift the legs. Lower. And lift. One more time like that. Lower the heels And lift the legs. Oh my goodness. Okay, come on down. Take a break. Feet to the floor. Little, maybe drop the knees side to side or do whatever you like. Just let your belly soften for a moment. Okay. All right, so one more thing while we're here. I'm gonna try to encourage you to not use too much momentum, but to try and use your abs as much as possible. So we're gonna keep the movement relatively small. So we're not trying to like swing our legs around or anything like that. But we're just gonna try, the legs will move, but we're gonna try and just lift the hips up, kind of hold them up for a moment and bring them back down. So if the legs are up, you'll pull your legs in, right? Just lift the hips a little bit, try and hold them there so you really feel your abs and then let them come back down. It's a small movement. We're not trying to like do a big momentum thing. So the feet come over, curl the hips just off the floor so you feel your lower abs. As much as you can lift and hold, and then let them come back down. So it's one thing to lift, the other part is trying to hold it there. So bring the legs forward, try and curl your hips off the mat. It's gonna be small, right? It's gonna be small, and then bring them back down. Again, like that. And bring them back down. Lift. So the toes are kind of reaching away and back down. So if you can, maybe lift a little higher, pull the legs in a little closer. But your hamstrings, right, will have something to say about that. So see however far they'll go. Maybe the hips will lift a little higher, maybe they won't. Lower down, we'll do a couple more. Hopefully you're feeling this in your abs. It's making me sweaty. Come on down. Let's do it again. Feel up, try and hold up, even though the up is kind of small, and back down. And one more time. Up, hold, reach the feet towards the back of the room or just away, right? And then come on down. Feet to the floor, relax, take a moment, soften. My goodness, okay. All right, let's come up. Forward and back. Let's come over just right onto hands and knees, and we'll do some cat-cow. So up and over. All right. Stretch the belly. This will feel nice. So when you're ready, inhale, lifting the chest, lift the sit bones. Exhale, round. Right, so just enjoy this nice, easy movement. All right, stretching the abs, stretch your back. Take your time, no rush. Let's do one more. Inhaling and exhaling. Bringing the heart forward. Let's walk the hands a little forward and head right back into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Oh my goodness. So as you get into down dog, feel free to pedal the heels a time or two. You can bend one knee, and I'll lean into the opposite hip, get a little stretch there, stretch the side body. And then see if you can start to settle in. Move through the hands nice and evenly. And we tend to kind of sit in the heel of the hand and the outer edge of the hand. So try and press the thumb side down, press the fingertips all down into the floor. Let's shift forward to plank. Inhale, forward gaze slightly forward. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Stretch it back. Inhale, coming forward. And exhale, hips up and back. So we can come into that nice even breathing and use that breath as we inhale forward and pause, right? And then a steady exhale back. All the breath out, pause. And then inhaling again. Right, forward into plank, little pause at the top, right? Using the whole exhale to get back to down dog. Little pause as you get to down dog. And then the whole inhale to come forward to plank. Then a pause at the top of the breath, holding plank. Let's do that 3 more times. Exhaling. Smoothing out the breath. Keep going. 2 more. The whole inhale to come forward and a pause. Whole hand pressing, right? Use the fingertips. Full exhale to get to down dog. 1 more time like that. Inhale. Goes forward. Exhale. Pause and down dog. Use the inhale to stretch back a little more, lengthening the backs of the legs. On your next inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, walk forward, jump forward. Bring your feet to your hands. Lift up halfway, inhale. Fold back down, exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway up. Send the heart forward, lift the belly. Exhale. All the way down. Inhale. Halfway up. Oh, exhale. Empty the breath. Fold in. Come all the way up this time. Firm the legs, firm the glutes. Inhale. Lifting, reaching, pressing the palms. Bring the hands to the heart. Thumbs to the sternum, dropping the gaze. A moment to set an intention for practice. Right, maybe just reaffirming why you're taking a yoga class, or really any intention, just, a little inspiration for the practice. Inhale. Sigh it out, exhale. Release the hands down, turn the palms out, inhale, reach up. Exhale, up and over. Hinging at the hips as best as you can, right? Lengthening the backs of the legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, hands down, step back, lunge, right foot. Step back, left foot, back to our plank pose. Tailbone to the heels, right? Lift the lower belly. Press the thighs to the ceiling, lengthen forward. Take 1 more inhale, on the tippy toes forward. Exhale, bend the elbows. Heart keeps going forward as you lower down, right? All the way to the earth. Curl the tailbone under, reach the hands back. Inhale, lift the head, the chest, lift the legs. Exhale, lower down. Right, mount the pubic bone to the floor. Let's do one with the hands interlaced. Interlace your fingers. Reach back. Lift the chest, lift the legs. Stay lifted. Switch the interlace. Reach back again. Inhale. Exhale. Come all the way down. Release the hands and bring your arms forward so your elbows are bent like cactus arms. Curl the tailbone under. Inhale, lift the head, the chest, the legs, the arms, right? Scoop the elbows under. Try and lift the fingers up away from the floor. Take 1 more breath. Oh, reach the arms to straight overhead. Inhale. Exhale, come all the way down. Soften, waggle the hips a little bit. Plant your palms by your ribs. Tuck your toes. Take an inhale. On an exhale, press the floor away. Come to plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. So take a breath. Maybe sigh it out. All right, 2 more breaths in downward. Good. All right, last inhale here. Stretch back. Exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, walk, float, feet to hands, lift up halfway, inhale. Fold in, exhale. Firm the glutes, come all the way up, inhale. Exhale, through the midline, we'll keep going. Hands down, palms out. Inhale. Hinge and fold. Exhale. Halfway lift. Inhale, zip the belly. Bend the knees, hands down. Right foot, left foot. Sorry, big step. Right foot, big step. Plank pose. Plank again. Arms straight. All right, really squeeze them straight. Lean in. Abs engaged. Right, tailbone under. Slow motion lower. Heart goes forward. So the elbows are over the wrists as you lower. All the way down. For cobra pose. Curl the tailbone under. Inhale, lift the head, the chest. Hug the elbows in. Heart up. Exhale, lower down. Shoulders away from the ears. Right? Lift the fronts of the shoulders away from the floor. Press the palms, lift the chest. Inhale, cobra pose. Take an extra breath here, heart lifts. Exhale, lower down. Do that one more time. Press the tops of the feet, melt the pubic bone down. Lift the heart forward and up. Oh, breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Lower to the floor. So again, tucking the toes. Take an inhale. Exhale. Press the floor away. Come to plank. Inhale. Exhale. Downward facing dog. All right. Let's bring the feet a little closer together. Send the right leg up and back into the air. Turn the toes out. Lift the hip. Bend the knee. Sink the opposite heel towards the floor. One more. Straighten the legs, square the hips. Outer right hip down, yeah. Press the left thigh back. Take an inhale. Exhale your knee to your nose. Round the spine. Shift forward. Inhale, reach the leg up and back. So do that again. Scoop out the belly. Tailbone under. Shift and try and touch your face with your knee. Inhale, lift. One more time. Come forward. Hold it forward. Touch your right arm with your knee. And then come across and touch your left arm with your knee. And then reach the right leg up and back into the air. Inhale. Exhale, foot to the floor. All right, same thing other side. Left leg up. Turn the toes out with the hip and the knee. Sink the left heel. Right heel. Your right heel. Oh, all right. And then straighten the left leg. Square the hips. Press back. Inhale. Exhale, shift forward. Knee to your nose, knee to your forehead, right? Squeeze. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, round. Round and shift into plank. Inhale, lift it up. One more time. Forward through the middle. Squeeze. Stay forward. Touch your left arm. Stay forward. Touch your right arm. Reach the leg up and back. Inhale. Exhale, foot to the floor. Press back. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. Walk. Float feet to hands. Inhale. Halfway lift. Exhale. Fold. Inhale. All the way up. Exhale. Hands to heart. Take a breath. Inhale. Sigh out. All right, let's keep going. Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar. Hey. Woo. Hands down, palms out. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Heart goes forward. Exhale, bend the knees, hands down. This time, maybe jump it back to plank, to chaturanga if you like. Float the feet back, lower halfway down to upward facing dog. Oh, to downward facing dog. Right, so use this opportunity to really lengthen the backs of the legs. Right, press the thigh bones into the backs of the legs. Right, give the glutes a little squeeze, right, and really stretch back. Smooth out the breath. Good. Take one more inhale. Exhale. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. Walk or float, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Firm the glutes to rise, lift the heart, reach up. Exhale, through the midline, one more time like that, Surya Namaskar A, inhale. Exhale, all the breath out. Inhale, lift up halfway. Bend the knees, hands are down. Step or float back. You can land even in Chaturanga if you like. To upward facing dog. To downward facing dog. Stretch the heels back and down. Hug the rib tips in, those bottom tips of the ribs. Take another breath. Press back. Use the exhale to walk, to float. Feet to hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Hold, exhale. Rise, inhale from the glutes, lift the heart. Hands through the midline. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands down, bend your knees. Inhale, lift the chest, reach the arms. Utkatasana, chair pose. Melt the shoulder blades down, right? As you melt the shoulder blades down, reach the sit bones back and down. Right, so we have a kind of lengthening away through the back body and a lifting up through the front, right? So the hip bones lift, the heart lifts, right? Lengthening up through the pinkies as we lengthen back through the sit bones and we melt the shoulder blades down. Press the upper arms back a bit. See if you can get your arms by your ears. Inhale. Let's fold, exhale, belly to thighs. Straighten the legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, hands are down, step back, jump back, take a vinyasa, or maybe anytime you need to, you can go straight to down dog. Modify the vinyasa however you need to, yeah. Nice. Okay, right leg up. Inhale the right leg up into the air. Exhale, step lightly. Right, pull the knee forward, the foot between the hands. Soft bend the back knee. Let's bend it quite a bit. Right, so the back knee is kind of close to the floor. And come up into a crescent pose, but with a really big bend in the back knee. Send the tailbone down. Right, so we're trying to really open up the front of the back leg hip. Reaching up through the fingertips. We'll get that same pressing of the upper arm back action. Pull the ribs in, engage the belly. Yeah, and then see if the back leg wants to straighten any more. Use the inner thigh. Right, look for a stretch in the belly, stretch at the front of the hip. Take another breath, reach back, and then slowly let it go. Bring the hands down to the earth, step it back, take a vinyasa, right? You can float the foot for the vinyasa. You can skip it as you need to. All right. Left leg lifts. Inhale. Exhale. Use the abs. Try and land without a sound. Foot between your hands. Bend the back knee a lot. And let's come up. Crescent. With a big bent back knee to start. Right, hip bones lifting up. Trying to open up the front of the right hip as much as possible. And then as the arms reach, we press the upper arms back. And then pull the ribs back in. Pull the belly button towards the spine. Keep the abs engaged and maybe the back leg gets a little straighter. Yeah, smooth out the breath. Steady inhale. Steady exhale. And slowly release, hands down. Step back plank. Maybe three-legged vinyasa. Right, feel free. Back to down dog. All right. Let's stay here. Lift the right leg up.
Inhale. Exhale. Again, stepping forward. Try to land without a sound. Bring the back foot a little closer. Land the heel. Lengthen the outer right hip back. Hands to your hips. Let's come up. All right, so instead of the regular hidden prayer arms, we'll do Gomukhasana arms. So maybe with a towel or a strap, top arm up, bottom arm under. Yeah. So we're, I don't know this side, maybe. Oh yeah, there. Trying to get our fingers back there. But you can put a towel in between your hands or a strap or whatever, yeah. Okay. My shoulders. Oh, my shoulders are tight. Okay. So because my shoulders are tight, as I get into this, I'm really sticking my ribs out. So lengthening up through the left elbow, then try and pull the ribs in. So the left arm is up top, yeah. And the right arm under. That's it. Okay, it's a big stretch. It's a big stretch. All right, keep the belly engaged. Ooh, inhale. Lift the chest, reach up with the left elbow. And exhale, forward fold. Oh my goodness. Right, lengthen out. So what tends to happen is the left arm will kind of push on the back of your head a little bit. Try and keep your heart lengthening down the front of your leg, like you're pouring everything into your foot, into your big toe. Strong back leg. Take one more breath here. Lift up halfway, unravel the arms. So the arms can go out wide. Maybe bring them into your heart if you like, but we're gonna come into warrior three. Bend the front knee, lean forward, lift the back foot off the floor. Drop the outer left hip down, the back hip towards the mat. And then slowly straighten your standing leg, or try to. All right, breathe into that stretch. If this is going okay, try the arms overhead. Shoulders away from your ears. Breathe. One more breath. Press the upper arms away from the floor. Yeah. Back to your crescent pose. Bend the right knee. Land in your lunge. Oh my gosh. Lift the chest. Just feel the heat on the right hip. Inhale. And slowly, like you're sad about it, hands to the floor. Stepping back to take a vinyasa. Maybe you take a breath or two, a child's pose, whatever makes more sense. Back to down dog. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that on the other side. Send the left leg up. Inhale. Exhale. Round the spine, step through, land lightly. Step the back foot in a little bit. Back into the floor. Hands to your hips, come on up. So Parsvottanasana with our Gomukhasana arms on the other side. So right arm's the top arm. Up and behind. Just like you're bringing your hand to the middle back. Sweep it around the left arm, that is. Oh, my shoulder. My shoulders feel tight today. Okay. All right, lift the chest up and then hug the ribs in. Try and keep the abs engaged. Take an inhale and exhale. Forward fold. Right, lengthening the outer left hip back as you come into the fold. And then kind of lifting your head up into your arm so that you're really lengthening down that front leg. Breathe. Smooth out the Ujjayi breath. Right, keep the kneecaps lifted, the thighs flexing. All right. Slowly lift till your shoulders are hip high and unravel the arms. All right, so reaching out wide, you can always bring hands to heart if this, for this part rather, if you like. Bend the front knee a little bit and let's lean forward, gaze slightly forward. Picking the right foot off the floor, coming into warrior three. So we're trying to get a nice parallel line of the shoulders, the hips, and that lifted heel. Yeah. That's the fun part. All right, maybe the arms come overhead. All right, press the lifted thigh, press the upper arms away from the floor. Oh, take one more breath here. Yeah, and then bend the right knee, left knee, sorry, bend your left knee. Come back into your crescent pose. Oh, lifting the heart, press those upper arms back. Inhale. Exhale. Woo, slowly down. Maybe a three-legged vinyasa. Maybe you go right to down dog or rest. Take a breath or two. Good. All right. When you get to down dog, maybe sigh the breath out. Shake your head out a little bit. All right, inhale, stretch back. Exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, walk, float, feet to hands. Halfway lift, zip the belly, inhale. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, bend the knees. Reach the arms. All right, lengthen back through the sit bones. Press the upper arms back, reach up. We love chair pose. We love chair pose. One more breath. Press and rise, inhale. Exhale, release the arms. Okay, standing Tadasana. Well, really separating the feet so they're hip distance apart. Get a little more hamstring stretch. Hands on the hips, Padangusthasana. Inhale, exhale. Folding, bending the knees any amount to grab your big toes, right? So however much, or not at all, but you know, bend them if you need to. Middle finger, first finger in between the toes. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen forward. Press your toes into your fingers. Exhale, fold. Right, crown of the head, actively lengthening towards the earth. Right, sit bones reaching up, but at the same time, give the sit bones a little squeeze. Shoulder blades lifting away from the floor. Yes, that's it. Take another breath here. Try and lean a little bit into your toes. Ah, that stretch. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release the toes. Give your hands a little shake. All right, bring your feet, well, if you want, you don't really have to, but maybe bring the feet a little closer together. Bend your knees. Back to Utkatasana. Of course, why wouldn't we do Utkatasana right now? Okay, from our chair pose, lift the heels. So you're still in chair pose, but with your heels off the ground. Press the big toe mounds. Firm the outer ankles. Slowly stand up with the heels lifted. Right, just breathe. It's okay if you lose your balance or whatever. Just press the big toe mounds. Just easier said than done. Keep the heels lifted. Slowly lower. Fingertips just reaching for the sky. Right, we're coming all the way down. Hips to heels. Okay. Bakasana. Hands to the ground. All right. So we're going to stay at the top of the mat though, but hands to the ground. Lift the knees up. Elbows bending back towards your ankles. Scooping the belly, leaning forward. Right? We're trying to ultimately straighten the arms. Pulling the heels in. Right? We're trying to get that scoop and lift in the belly. You have to lean and look forward. Yes. Breathe. Good. Because Bakasana technically is straight arms. Okay. Which is another thing that's easier to say than do, of course. Okay. So staying in our heel lifted squat. Oh yeah, you can finish. Okay. Staying in our heel lifted squat, hands at the heart. We're just gonna put the knees on the ground and pick them back up. So knees down, knees up. Whew. It's a fun little balance game. Knees down, knees up. Just a couple more like that, knees down. Just fun for your legs, knees up. Knees down, and knees up, maybe, and one more as I fall over, knees down. Okay, whew. It's good for your feet. Tap it out. All right, so here's what's gonna happen, or we're gonna try this anyway. If you need to, you can add a block or something to sit on. Let's try and bring the knees, so I'll show you from the front. The knees relatively close, the feet come a little bit apart. And then I'll turn sideways. All right, and what we're gonna do is just smooth out the calf. Let's get your hand in there, press it back, and see if you can come down and get your butt to the floor in between your feet. And if it feels like too much on your knees, you can put something under your butt. If you have a block, or like a towel or anything to just give you a little lift. I think I'm okay. Virasana. Vira means hero, so you probably can appreciate how that applies in this position, right? Knees okay? Relax the shoulders, and we're just gonna reach up. And if possible, interlace the fingers and turn the palms inside out. So the shoulder blades are melting down, sit bones reaching down, palms pressing up. Hug the ribs in. Squeeze the arms in. Try and wrap the tricep forward, right? And hug the tricep in. Switch to interlace, little bend, put the other thumb on top. Turn the palms inside out, we're back up. And again, wrapping the tricep forward and squeezing the arms to straight, pressing up. Pull the ribs in. Yeah. Maybe gently lift the chin. Don't force it, but if your neck agrees, you can look up. Take one more breath. And gently release. The arms come down. Okay. Come up and forward, and we're heading right into downward facing dog. So just plant the hands, tuck the toes. Press back, straighten your legs. Whew. Right, and just let your knees, straighten the backs of your knees. Breathe. All right, awesome. Let's keep going. Send the right leg up into the air. Inhale. Exhale, round the spine, pulling forward, step the foot through, warrior one. Back heel to the ground. Lengthen the right hip back. Let's come on up. Right, so this will kind of help open up the front of that hip again. Press through the back heel. And as you reach up, same. Yes, it feels like a bit of a back bend, but can I keep the belly engaged? Can I pull those ribs in? Tailbone to the earth, right, so the low back stays long. Maybe bending a little deeper into the front knee. See how that stretch in the back leg feels. Bring your hands to your heart and warrior two. So we'll open it up a little bit front to back and narrow it a little bit side to side. And open up. Right, feel the stretch to the inner thigh. Squeeze that right hip under. Good. Breathe. Straightening the front leg. Coming into Trikonasana. Right, right hip comes under. I almost said left. Right hip comes under. Reach forward. Forward, forward. Keep the abs engaged. Right leg as straight as it'll go. And then let the hand come down wherever it needs to land. Anywhere on your leg, if you can make it all the way to the floor, that's fine, but that's a pretty big stretch. Yeah. Ribs in, belly in. Breathe into the stretch. All right, so looking down, Engage your abs, squeeze your glutes. We're gonna float the bottom hand, right? Reach it forward. Take the top arm, spin it, and reach that overhead too. Breathe here. Legs super strong. One more breath. Push into the left foot. Stand yourself up. Pull. And then release the arms. Parallel the feet. Yeah. So let's take the stretch and then we'll play a little bit with trying to get our feet off the floor for fun. Just for fun. But first the stretch. Repeat the hasta. Okay. Hands on the hips. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, come forward. Forward and down. Prasarita Padottanasana. Lift the kneecaps up. Crown of the head reaching for the floor. Good. Breathe here. Firm the glutes. Lift the shoulder blades up away from the mat. So some days the crown of your head actually touches the floor. You press up into tripod headstand. So that's the first pressing up, I think, or at least it's the easier pressing up. Once your head touches the mat, the elbows hug in, and you just kind of lean in and pick your feet up. And come on in. Breathe, of course. Hug the elbows in. And then down. Okay. Halfway lift. Inhale. Walk your hands a little forward so you can plant your hands flat. You want to get your shoulders over your wrists, or get your wrists under your shoulders. Maybe that's a better way. I'm in an awkward place on my mat. There we go. Okay, right, and I think you kind of know what to do. Leaning forward, right, scooping the belly, coming up onto the toes. Right, up onto the toes, trying to get a little air under the feet. Maybe the feet come off. Yeah. Lean. And then it's just using the abs to kind of scoop the hips up a little higher. You can probably feel the work in the upper back. One more. Good, yes. And then when you really feel like you're gonna start, getting your feet up, if you wanna try and really get all the way up, you can always come to a wall, although I don't know if you have an empty wall in your house, but always having the wall behind, if you really feel like, I'm gonna actually, it's nice for a little bit of, just for your brain. All right, well, we still have to do the whole other side, so relax and take a moment. We still have more stuff to do. Turn towards the top of your mat, sort of unceremoniously make our way through the vinyasa. Okay, I know it's fun to play with that stuff, but we'll have one more opportunity as we stretch our legs a little bit more. Okay, so down dog as you're ready, make your way there. And we'll do that sequence on the other side. Oh my God, where does the time go? Okay. Where does the time go? So as you're ready, let's send the left leg up into the air. Inhale it up. Exhale, lift up between the hands. Warrior one. Back heel to the floor. Come on up. Right, drawing the left hip back. Right, so really, besides the strengthening of the legs, we want the stretch at the front of the right hip, or whatever the back leg is, so the right on this side. Right, pulling the hip bones up, looking for that stretch. Rooting through the back heel. Right, really moving through the inseam and pressing the back heel down to help find the stretch. And then bending into the front knee, right, because that'll give us a little bit more. Press the upper arms back, hug the ribs in. Let's make our way into warrior two. Yeah, hands to the heart. Widen front to back and narrow side to side a little bit. And open up. So here the stretch is the inner thighs, right? The front knee goes wide so you can see the big toe side of your front foot. Right, gaze over the middle finger of your front hand and just keep trying to tuck the left hip under. It wants to swing out to the side, so we try not to let it do that. One more breath, back leg super straight, and then we'll straighten the front leg. Right, get that as straight as you can without, feeling like you're hyperextending your knee or anything. Come forward, right, lean into the stretch. Lean, oh my gosh. Then the hand just comes down wherever. Don't try and force it lower. Open up. Right, open up. We're kind of leaning back a bit. Staying flat. Lengthen through the left side. Take one more breath just like this. Right, so to really fire up the legs, maybe try to gaze down, engage your abs, reach the left hand forward. All about the legs. Take the top arm, bring it up and over like you're passing a giant beach ball to the top of your mat. Open the chest, roll the right side back. Press into your back foot, stand yourself up. Whew. Release the arms. And one more time, I'm gonna turn so I'm facing this way now. One more time, let's turn sideways. You're facing the other way, but parallel the feet. Yeah. Okay. So we did Padangusthasana, legs together. So now we're gonna do Prasarita Padottanasana D, which is first two fingers grabbing the big toes. Or we're gonna try anyway. You may have to bend your knees a little bit. Inhale, exhale, into the fold. Try and hook your toes. Same idea, right? Fingers come under, you press your fingers into the earth. Lengthen the heart forward, inhale, exhale, pull yourself in. Crown of the head, trying to get to the floor. Whether it gets there or not is a whole other thing. And if you can't reach your toes, you can grab any part of your leg. But we're trying for the toes, of course. Keep the shoulder blades lifting, kneecaps lifting. Good, one more breath, so stretchy. Lift up halfway. Zip the belly. All right, hands to the floor. Let's give it a couple more tries just for fun, for good measure. All right. You may want to move your feet a little closer together. I feel like it's really difficult when your feet are super wide. And then hands shoulder distance. And just lean in. Right, lean in. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, a little jump helps get the feel of it. What you can also do, it is a little bit scary, but if you have blocks, hold on. I preface this by saying it is a little scary. It is a little scary. But your feet. And this is where possibly you go to a wall or something that supports you from behind, because now you're higher, right? So especially when you're strong, this is going to be a big lift. Your hamstrings may disagree, but right, getting your feet higher is going to make it easier to pick your feet up and get that feel of weightlessness, leaning into your hands, pulling up through the hips, all that good stuff. So just something to consider. It is a little bit, it's a little bit scary. You have to kind of get used to that lifted feel with on your feet. Right? It's less scary if there's a wall behind you. Okay. Good, good, good. So let's do a couple of back bends. Urbanurasana, we'll do a bridge pose, but maybe kind of playing with at least the idea of Urbanurasana, whether you actually come up into it all the way or not is, not a big deal. But that stretch, that length is just more usefulness for inversions and stuff. So let's come down. We'll do one bridge pose, and then we'll play with the arms, maybe a little bit coming up into Urdhva. Let's see how you feel in your shoulders and stuff. But first, let's come down and we'll do bridge pose because that's pretty friendly for most people. Okay, so on the back. I'm sweaty. Okay. Like I need a towel or something under my shoulders. Knees bent, feet flat. Let's lift the hips. Right, so here too, there's a pulling up of the hip bones. And we do that a lot in a lot of our poses. We're still doing that, right? Trying to draw the hips up towards the ribs. Really tip the pelvis, like you're trying to pour all the contents like into the rib cage, right? Lengthening through the tailbone, pouring the pelvis. Interlace, tuck, tuck, tuck. I won't be laughing because I'm sweating, I'm kind of sliding, but lift the chest. And again, trying to pour the pelvis, right? So we're lengthening the lower back and hopefully engaging through the upper back. Sternum to the chin. Take another breath, press evenly through their feet. And slowly come on down. Ooh. Soften, relax for a breath. Okay. So consider, and just, one step at a time, see how it goes. Urbanurasana is wheel, it really means upward facing bow pose. And it's a really big stretch, as you know. So just take your time. We did some good stretchy things, so I'm hoping it'll help. All right, so your hands just come up and over, right? So this is phase one of just trying to, can I get my hands to the floor near my shoulders? Can I hug the elbows in? Right, you may already feel some stretch in the side of the body. That's fine, right? Breathe into that. And if you feel like, I don't know, maybe I just stay here for a breath or two, it's fine to just be here, hug the elbows in, and consider puffing the chest a little bit, right? If you're like, well, maybe I can do a little more. Then you start to lift your hips up, right? Hug the elbows in, and just press enough to bring the top of your head to the floor, right? And then this is where the fun really starts, right? Hugging the elbows in, puff the chest, and then maybe you start to press and lift your head up off the floor. And here too, trying to straighten the arms, although that's a pretty tall order. Boy, yeah. Come down when you're ready, tuck your chin to your chest, and come down on the back of the head. Yeah, nice. Okay, good. It's a big pose, take a moment. Whew. I was really disappointed when I came to yoga and did this, when it was so easy. When I was a kid, I could do all the walkovers and whatever, no big deal. And then in yoga class, I was like, how did I ever do that? I don't know. But with enough practice, it does start to feel a little less horrifying. Right, so you just take your time. You're not on any sort of schedule. All right, so we try to have hand-shoulder distance. They may end up a little wider. It's fine. You can even turn the fingers out a little bit. That's fine too. All right, hands come down. And you just one step at a time. Hug the elbows in, right? Lengthen the tailbone, lift the hips, press onto the top of the head, and then arrange your hands, shoulder distance, hug the elbows in, right? Puff the chest, and try and slowly lift your head off the floor and straighten the arms, which they may or may not straighten.
right? It's okay. One more breath. Lengthen through the tailbone. And then slowly, back of the head, come down. Oh, okay. So good. Hug the knees in. Rock a little bit side to side. Oh, back bends. Back bends are nice. Okay. So let's take an easy twist from lying down. And maybe you do the same twist that we did earlier. If you want to take a little bit of a deeper twist, let's keep the right knee hugged in and send the left leg out on the ground. Just straight, and then pull the right knee over to the left. Oh, right, heel open. So you can keep the right knee bent and just let it be just how it is, probably hovering above the floor. If you want, you can also try and straighten your right leg out to the left side, right? You can hold on to your shin. Eventually, you're grabbing the pinky edge of your foot and straightening your leg out there. But that doesn't have to happen right now. Right, it's just more stretchy stuff, more stretchy things you can do. Right, try and get the top hip. It wants to kind of curl in towards the waist. Can we lengthen it away? Make some space there. All right, one more breath. And gently releasing. Let's come up through center. Let's straighten out. Okay. Hug the knees, and this time we'll keep the left knee. Send the right leg out. Just let the hip open. And then left leg comes across. Heel open. And again, the knee can hover with the leg bent, or you can slowly start to straighten it, maybe eventually catching the pinky edge of your foot with your right hand. Heel open. So same, it's kind of subtle, but that same movement in the top hip, where it wants to just sort of melt in towards the waist. We can add just a little bit of reaching the top hip away and opening up the left side of the waist a little bit. Maybe you turn your gaze. Last breath or two. All right. And then slowly, gently release it. Oh, come back to center. Okay. Hug the knees. Let's come up to seated for a couple minutes anyway. Oh, come on up. Yeah, we still have a few minutes. All right, so Dandasana. Sit nice and tall. We're gonna also come back into our Virasana and stretch the front of the legs a little bit more, but let's do hamstrings. Reach up, go forward. All right, holding on. Inhale, come halfway back up. Try and get the shoulders down and then scoop the heart through the arms and lean forwards more. Right. Stretching the backs of the legs, the back of the body too. One more breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale the rest of the way. Okay. So we did an upright Virasana with both feet back and we're on our shins, right? So let's try and do one side. So Ardha Virasana. Pull the right foot back and start here. We start here. So the heel is outside. You're not sitting on it or anything. It's just kind of close. Your toes can even point a little bit out to the side because sometimes the stretch at the front of the ankle gets to be a bit much. So you can have your toes out. That stretch doesn't bother me, so I just have the top of my foot. But the fun part is we're just going to lean back. Well, maybe all the way back, but we're going to lean back some amount. Right? As you lean back,
tuck the tailbone under. So you're gonna really scoop the tailbone, lean back, maybe onto your forearms. So you'll start to feel the stretch at the quad, the front of the hip. Try and melt the knee to the floor. Be nice to your low back. Eventually, we're gonna, well, maybe not today, but lay all the way down. Just try and breathe and soften. Right, I know. Softening is probably a tall order right now. But just think about the tailbone lengthening, right? The tailbone lengthening, tailbone lengthening. Take one more breath. All right, slowly up. Oh, God. Okay. So that's Supta. Bring the knee across, straighten the leg. So Ardha Virasana because we're doing one leg at a time. Then it's Supta Ardha Virasana because we're trying to lay down. So other side. So this is my more tricky knee, but I think it's feeling pretty good today, so it's safe. All right, and then, right, so top of the foot, maybe, but feel free to put the toes out to the side a little bit. And then as you go, lengthen through the tailbone, because otherwise everything just gets pulled into the lower back, and we're trying not to do that. All right, lengthen, and if you need to, you can push into the other foot, like bend the knee and lengthen, and then send it back out. If you feel like you're not getting a proper lengthening of the lower back. Right, and just think about the knee pressing down towards the floor, the bent knee, right, to lengthen the front of the thigh. The tailbone lengthening. Right, breathe here, a couple more breaths. Just think about someday laying all the way down. It's a big stretch. All right. And slowly come back up. Boy. All right. Bring that leg across, straighten it out, little shake. Okay, let's lie down. Come onto our backs. Okay, that's good. So from here, if you want to do maybe a couple of breaths on each side, maybe not a couple, maybe like 5 or 6. Of a thread the needle, or possibly go Mukasana legs, or some sort of hip stretch. Right? I don't mind which one. If you want to really go into a more deep stretch from lying on your back, you can just cradle the shin and pull it in like pigeon pose. And this is just reclined. So any kind of hip stretch from lying down, just take a few breaths and let the hip release and soften. You can kind of play with the leg, the angle of the leg, all that stuff, especially when we're on our backs and we're not doing a big weight-bearing stretch. You can kind of experiment. Take one more breath on this side. And let's switch to the other side. So whichever stretch you're doing, just pull that in. Hard for me to see once I lie down. Okay. So this can be as big of a stretch as you want it to be. Just letting the hip stretch and release. Notice how this side feels compared to the first side. Usually one side is a little tighter than the other. You feel it a little bit more, whatever it is, but just notice the difference. And gently releasing the second side. And if you want, you can do a happy baby or any other stretchy things from lying down before we take Shavasana. So whatever you like, stretch-wise, and then. Feel free to add a prop to cover your eyes or turn the lights down or whatever you like to help make your Shavasana super relaxing. But then get comfortable. Right? Allow the body to really soften. Maybe we come back into that nice even breathing that we were doing at the beginning of class, just to give the mind a little bit of an anchor to the moment. Because when we start to relax, the mind lets to wander. So just giving yourself these last couple of minutes, just really let your body, your brain integrate the practice, take it in, and you rest. And let the mind, the attention rest on the breath. And Shavasana. Ever so gently start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, softly waking up. When you're ready, you can pull the knees in. One last squeeze. Rolling gently out to your right side. Just taking a breath there, as you know, it's nice. And up to seated. Press the floor away. Come on up. All right. I'm just pausing briefly just to notice, appreciating the effects of practice, noticing the shift, what's different from where we started. Just a little while ago. Bringing the hands to the heart, thumbs to the sternum. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, bowing the chin. Just pausing in gratitude as we do. Right? Grateful, grateful, grateful. Even in these crazy times, there's always stuff to be grateful for, like this practice. Right? Every time we show up and we do our practice and it works, it's magic. So grateful for that. Right? And maybe there's something else. There's one other thing that you're grateful for today.
So just take a moment and remind yourself of that. Let your heart really feel that gratitude. And thank you so much for practice. Happy Monday. Namaste. Namaste. All right, fun. Okay. Get you into that handstand eventually.
A bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
Persistent. Trying to,
Yeah.
my shoulders don't want to cooperate. They're getting better.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a long game. It's not a quick thing at all, but it'll happen. I was so jammed up, like my shoulders, my back was so tight. I just felt like there was no way I could do so many things. And then just slowly over time, like, hey, oh my gosh. And then like that handstand thing took some time, but that was like my yoga goal from when I first started was I want to be able to press up into a handstand. I saw one of my teachers do that and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's one of my goals.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that totally. So just be patient, but you have the advantage of being, fairly strong. We just got to get the range of motion and everything to kind of come together. But it will, I believe.
It's fun. It's fun to try because I could feel what's supposed to happen. I'm just
that's half
there.
the battle.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yay. All right, fun.
All right, well, thanks.
I'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.